Alexandra Connor coming to you from the other coast of our lovely country. I'm Senior Vice President of Marketing at FlexCare, a healthcare workforce partner that helps travel nurses and clinicians find opportunities and careers that fit their lives. I've spent a large chunk of my career in healthcare, and what's always stuck with me is that behind every system and every care model, it always comes down to one thing: the people behind the care. And since working at FlexCare specifically, where we have the privilege of supporting nurses and clinicians as they explore new roles and new places, I've become especially fascinated by that side of the story. How do people build lives around their work? And what helps them stay connected to their purpose in a profession that asks so much of them? And what I've learned is this: when clinicians have a chance to feel the ownership over their work, not just where they work, everything changes. Engagement goes up, purpose comes back, and patient care improves. And that's what drew me to today's topic, not a management trend, but a mindset shift. And I think to bring that to life, we really need to start from the beginning, and we need to start from the people who craft those stories. I have a dear friend, her name is Lana, and I'd love to tell you a little bit about her story to get us going. She's been a nurse for about 10 years now. She's excellent at what she does. Her patients adore her. She's very well trusted at work, and she's that coworker that everybody goes to when things go sideways. But one thing that she said to me one day that really stuck with me, she said, "I still love being a nurse. I still love what I do, but I just don't feel like it fulfills me like it used to." And when I asked her what she meant, it wasn't that she didn't care about her patients or felt that her work wasn't important. She said she found deep meaning in what she did for others still, but personally she felt disconnected. Like the way she worked no longer reflected the kind of nurse that she wanted to be. And what it really came down to was ownership. Every part of her day felt decided before she even clocked in. She hasn't lost her passion. She still loved being a nurse. She still loved caring for her patients, but she lost her ability to shape how the passion showed up. And in that moment is when I realized how many clinicians might feel the same way. How many clinicians feel slowly disconnect from their profession, not because they've fallen out of love with the work itself, but because they no longer feel any control of how they experience it. And Lana is not alone in that sentiment. As you're well aware, burnout has been a huge issue in the industry. The study that was published in the International Nursing Review this year cited 61% of nurses worldwide reporting anxiety, depression, and burnout. So what happens at the meta level when nurses like Lana hit burnout? And we looked at a study, actually a compilation of them. 85 studies were done over the last couple of years across 32 countries, surveying over 288,000 nurses. And that study found that higher nurse burnout is associated with worse patient safety culture, lower safety grades, more hospital-acquired infections by as much as 20%, more medication errors, more of all the adverse effects. And this isn't just a workforce issue either. It's costly to our hospitals. Hospitals losing anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000 per day per nurse due to turnover, to recruitment costs, to lost productivity. And even more importantly, a patient safety crisis. Because when you think about it, data shows that 10% rise in nurses intending to leave their vacation is resulting in an increase of 14% in patient deaths. That's staggering. The inverse is true though as well. There was a study done across California, Florida, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and critical care hospitals, and that showed that nurse satisfaction was actually linked to 20% reduction in patient mortality. So how can we use that? How can we use nurses' attitude to their profession to turn things around? Because those numbers are staggering, but behind them, there's something deeper. Burnout isn't just about exhaustion. It's about disconnection from meaning, from autonomy, from the ability to feel ownership over the work itself. And that's really what Lana was describing. She still cared deeply about her patients and the impact that she made every day, but she lost that personal connection to why she became a nurse in the first place. So maybe, just maybe, the answer doesn't start with rebuilding the system overnight, but by helping nurses change how they experience their work within it. That idea, the ability that you can reshape your work so it better reflects your strengths, your values, your purpose, is at the heart of something called job crafting. And this concept is not new. It actually originated in organizational psychology. It was first introduced back in 2001 by Amy Wisniewski and Jane Dutton. And it explores how people proactively shape their work to fit their strengths, to fit their values and their goals. And there's three main types to contend with. Task crafting, changing what you do, relational crafting, who you do it with, and then the cognitive crafting, your perceptions and how you see your work, and changes across that. And when we look across industries, the research really shows that people who craft their jobs are way more engaged, they're more resilient, they're more fulfilled. And in general, that sounds like a pretty good idea for our industry where some of those metrics are suffering today, right? But here's where it gets complicated. As you all know, in nursing, that kind of flexibility is incredibly hard to come by, if at all possible. Bedside nursing is built on structure, and for a very good reason. Safety, precision, predictability, that's what saves lives. But those same structures can make it nearly impossible for nurses to modify how they work. A Journal of Nursing Management study found that about 14% of nurses reported feeling high control over their schedules. And fewer than 1 in 5 said they had any real influence over workplace decisions. That lack of autonomy doesn't just impact workflow, it impacts identity. When every part of your day is predetermined before you even come into work, it becomes that much harder to find meaning in it. And when you can't shape any part of what you do, burnout is really not that far behind. So let me ask you something. If you could change one small thing about what you do, about your work tomorrow, not your role, just one thing, what would it be? That moment when the instinct comes up in your brain to name what would make your work better is at the root of job crafting. It's your mind saying, hey, I know what I need to thrive, give it to me. But in clinical settings, the system often silences that voice. So it's very hard for nurses to craft their work within a job. So what if they could craft their work around it? That's where macro level job crafting comes in. But ability to change the context of the work rather than the content. And that's one of the most powerful examples of crafting in nursing because it exists already. That's travel nursing. The concept is not new. It was introduced in the 70s and then grew in popularity significantly in the 80s as a temporary fix to rapid population shifts that were attributed to seasonal needs and festivals and whatnot. But now it grew into a critical part of the workforce solution mix. Travel nurses operate within hospital policies, but they have something rare. They have that control at the career level that staff nurses do not. They can decide where they go, when they work, why they take an assignment. They might choose contracts that align with personal goals, like exploring new specialties, working closer to family, or taking time to recharge. They can test different environments too. I want to get an experience in a level 1 trauma center. I want to work at a large academic center. I want to help a rural hospital in need, right? Each one teaches them something new about where they thrive. And each one gives them something that's next. They can even use short-term assignments strategically to build up their resumes and their experience, to pivot specialties, or to develop leadership skills. Last year, BMC Nursing did a study that found that nurses who practiced job crafting were much better able to buffer both positive and negative career shocks, meaning they stayed adaptable and they stayed resilient. One nurse told me that she was treating all of the assignments that she took with us as a chapter in her story. Every next assignment teaching her about what she wanted to do afterwards. And that's the macro level job crafting. Not the control over the shift, not control of what happens during your day-to-day, but the control over the bigger trajectory. And what's fascinating about this idea of macro level job crafting is that it's not theoretical. It's happening today. Travel nursing is one of the most visible examples of that. Nurses are using mobility as a way to take back the choice, to decide where they work, how they work, and what environments they want to work in. And data backs it up too. Travel nurse market jumped from around $6.5 billion back in 2019 to $42.7 billion in 22. It's more than a 6-fold increase. While volumes have pulled back, obviously, since COVID and the peak that we experienced then, SIA research confirms that the segment remains substantially larger today than it was before the pandemic. So that trajectory still holds very, very true. And what that tells us is that it isn't a niche trend. It's a structural shift in how nursing careers are being designed, a reflection of a profession redefining itself. Nurses aren't waiting for the system to change. They're changing the way they engage with it. And when nurses start crafting their careers instead of just jobs, everyone benefits. For nurses, it means more choice, it means more alignment and ability to keep growing instead of burning out. But for hospitals, the impact is extremely significant. It means being able to bring in professionals with fresh perspectives. It means being able to actually be ready for the population growth of who they care for. It brings bringing in nurses who've worked across different systems and different populations and understand different care environments, and who bring in that level of adaptability and insight that only experience can teach. In fact, travel nursing is just one of key ways job crafting is showing up for hospitals today. If you look at the total mix today, staff is obviously a critical core piece, but the adjacencies are expanding dramatically. Local talent pools, per diem formats all show consistent growth because it allows hospitals to adapt and be more attractive to clinicians who want more agency than a traditional employment model allows. And that's what gives nurses the flexibility without the relocation, without the uprooting their families. It gives them a chance to keep their community roots, but gaining more of that coveted control over their work. Virtual and hybrid roles are also on the rise. Telehealth, case coordination, remote triage, all redefining relational and cognitive crafting through digital care. These models give nurses what Lana lost: agency, choice, and self-definition. They allow for crafting at the career level, not just the task level. And for healthcare overall, it means building a more sustainable workforce, one that's based on adaptability and purpose instead of just fatigue and burnout. That's another layer too. Every new assignment brings exposure to new communities, beliefs, patient populations. Nurses who travel don't just gain clinical experience. They build cultural competency and cultural agility and empathy. So travel nursing isn't just moving between places. It's about evolving as a person and as a professional. And for those of you in leadership roles, this is where you have incredible influence. You can help newer nurses see that their careers don't have to follow one narrow path. You can give them permission to explore, to find what fits, and to view mobility not as instability, but as growth. Because here's the truth. Attitudes about work have changed. They have changed dramatically for every single profession that is in market today. And if we keep trying to fit new generations of nurses into old boxes, it won't work, or it won't work for long. The box has to change too. The truth is, none of us can rebuild the healthcare system overnight, yes, but we can take back the sense of ownership. We can help be more in control of our own paths, of our choices, and over how we show up for our patients and for ourselves. And that is what job crafting is really about. The freedom to align your work with your values again. So for many nurses, travel becomes that first step, or per diem, or local float pools, or telemedicine, as a way to pause, as a way to reset, to rediscover what kind of nurse, what kind of person do I want to be next? And for those of you guiding the next generation of clinicians, your influence starts that conversation. As you look at your student body, as you look at your teams, as you look at your new grads, show them that these options exist early on. Many nursing students and nurses don't even realize that this kind of autonomy and flexibility is possible within their profession. Give them the language to ask for that autonomy and to seek that alignment before burnout ever enters the picture. The tools to advocate for themselves, to design their careers with intention, with exploration that is actually considered in normal practice. We need to normalize the exploration for our clinical workforce. The earlier they understand that their path can evolve, that they can build a career that grows with them, not just against them, the stronger and more resilient our workforce becomes. Because when nurses enter the field knowing they have choice, they don't just stay longer. They stay engaged, they stay curious, they stay connected to the why behind why they chose to work in this industry in the first place. At FlexCare, we've had a front row seat to this evolution. Over our 19 plus years, we've supported tens of thousands of clinicians and partnered with thousands of healthcare facilities nationwide, giving us a really unique view of how this mobility is shaping modern healthcare. And travel nursing wasn't created for COVID, but during that critical time, it became a lifeline for hospitals and for communities across the country. So as we saw the crisis ease, the model didn't disappear. In fact, according to our research partner, SIA, travel nursing remains a multi-billion part of healthcare delivery and continues to be one of the most dynamic workforce segments in the industry. And we see this reality every single day. For many, travel becomes less about leaving something behind and more about finding their way back to balance, their way back to growth, and to the version of nursing that still feels like them, that still feels like the nursing that they chose as their core career. So as you think about your students, your teams, and your own next chapter, consider how choice and mobility might play a role. If you're curious about how travel could fit into that journey, or what we've learned over nearly 2 decades in business of helping clinicians craft their careers, of helping hospitals ensure that there is always a clinician to answer the call when they had a need, we're always happy to share insights and data and perspective. So please reach out, because at the end of the day, it's not just about jobs. It's about building a sustainable, agile workforce that's adaptable, that's inspired, and it's human at its very core. So if you take one thing from today, let it be this. You don't have to wait for someone to redesign your job. You can start crafting your career, one intentional decision at a time. Because when nurses take back the pen, they don't just rewrite their own story. They help to rewrite the story of healthcare itself. So shape your work. Don't let it shape you. Thank you very much, and please stay caring.